welcome back to Otaku no Video. As always, thank you very much for joining me. Time once again for Brent's Anime News Corner, this time literally from a corner in a hotel in Indianapolis. I'm actually here for the Gen Con gaming convention this weekend, but wanted to get you the extra special news from this week. First off, Tennessee Otaku. This is going out a bit late for you, unfortunately, but there was a mini anime convention called Daycon that transpired on Saturday, like yesterday. Entirely non-profit. All proceeds, in fact, went to a local animal shelter. Almost said anime shelter, but those don't exist. A $5 entry fee got you access to everything, including a cosplay contest, raffle, karaoke, game tournament, panels, anime showings, all that kind of good stuff. So if anyone went, please let me know. I'd like to know how the event went and what it was like. That's a really neat idea. Completely, anime con for a higher purpose. That's pretty cool. Moving on to some announcements, there's a new .hack anime on its way called .hack Quantum. Looks like it'll be an OVA shown at cons in Japan. No further word on other releases, although I'm sure they'll do something. The story is set in further along. There's a new version of the world, basically. Meanwhile, Bakemonogatari's 6th and final Blu-ray release in Japan demolished the charts, selling 51,000 copies to be the #1 Blu-ray that week. This is a TV anime record for first week sales, so congratulations. The previous record holder being Bakemonogatari Volume 4. All 6 volumes of this anime have sold a combined 325,000 copies. So yes, this is a very popular anime, thanks to staplers. Speaking of Blu-ray, Australian and British fans of Nausicaa the Valley of Wind, you may rejoice. Madman Entertainment will release a Blu-ray of Nausicaa in November in Australia and October in the UK, so that's very good. Although I wonder how much Blu-ray will look better than... I don't know how good the original film stock is on Nausicaa, so who knows. Anyway, meanwhile, Sentai Filmworks licensed Ghost Sweeper Mikami, an early 90s anime series that has never had any fans in America, even when it was released over here, back when there was practically no other anime available over here. I remember when it was released over here and just no one watched. But who knows? Maybe it'll catch some fans of early 90s anime series that no one watches. Who knows? Moving on to some Japanese announcements. There's going to be a live-action film of Bunny Drop, which is a manga I reviewed very recently. Secondly, Kenichi Matsuyama, who's an award-winning actor known for working on live-action anime and manga projects like Death Note, Detroit Metal City, and Gantz, will play the title role in the Bunny Drop film. So cool. Good to hear they're getting a seasoned actor for that role. And I don't normally talk about anime announced in Japan, like, a Japanese studio just announces, we're doing this anime, because who knows what it's going to turn into. But this sounds very interesting. The director of Kanagi and Haruhi Suzumiya, the otaku scholar Hiroki Azuma, who wrote Otaku Japan's Database Animals, which is a book I reviewed on here a couple of months ago, and the writer for Kuroshitsuji and Toradora, are all collaborating on one new anime. It's going to be airing on the Noitamina block, which is a block specifically aimed at older women, so not your typical anime otaku audience. Very interesting. The story is, it's a boy who lives on a continent controlled by the Fractale system, and a girl disappears and leaves behind a pendant, and he learns lots of terrible secrets about the Fractale system. So, doesn't sound that exciting just from the basic premise, but who knows. I think the anime will be called Fractal. Okay, cool, it should be interesting. And the art looks nice. Meanwhile, in the anime and real-life category, an anime production company called TMS Entertainment has made a touchscreen tablet computer specifically for children who are in the hospital for serious medical procedures. So it includes several specially produced anime segments specifically about procedures like taking blood samples, intravenous drips, x-rays, things like that, so the kids can watch this and you sort of understand what's going to go on. It also includes about 11 hours of traditional kid-friendly anime like Hello Kitty, Anpan Man, Thomas the Tank Engine, actually, and other stuff like that. So, and I think it's a great idea. Give something to kids in hospital so that their hospital stay will suck less. It's going to suck, but just make it that much less horrible. Bit of financial news. The company that owns Japanese television station TBS announced that in the second quarter of 2010, it made about $20 million in K-On! Merchandise, U.S. equivalent. And that's just T-shirts and other tie-in merchandise. That doesn't count DVDs or Blu-ray sales. So yeah, in case anyone's wondering why they keep making moe shows, that's why. And so, on the flip side of that, over here in America, Navar is planning on selling Funimation. They announced that a little while ago. They've now announced that they, quote, anticipate making a decision within the next 2 quarters, end quote, on what they're going to do. So within 6 months, they're going to decide on how to sell Funimation to someone else. So that's a little scary. Hopefully someone else will take over Funimation and do well with it. But apparently Funimation has not been doing so well for Navar, so who knows. Finally, some news of the weird. There's this retailer in Belgium named Cora, and they're basically like a supermarket, Kmart, Walmart-style chain. They recently launched their back-to-school website, and as you can see from the art over there, the art is kind of quite similar to that of Azumanga Daioh and Itazura no Kiss. Kinda, just a little. Yeah, weird. On the other hand, the Japanese really don't seem to care much about copyright much, so that'll probably just stay up. Finally, there's a new manga coming out in Japan that specifically celebrates the 50-year anniversary of the U.S. Mutual Cooperation Treaty that basically keeps all those American soldiers in Japan. So it's this manga about how great it is that there are all these U.S. soldiers in Japan, which is not a controversial topic at all. So I'm not quite sure why. Now, granted, the mangaka who is doing this manga is apparently very up on American soldiers in Japan and has been, supportive of that in the past. So I'm hoping this is a manga that kind of goes into that and talks about that and explains to regular Japanese citizens why America has a lot of troops in Japan. Pro tip, it's because, Asia is a really important place in the world, and if something bad goes down, it's good to have U.S. soldiers there. North Korea, anyone? And also things like natural disasters. When the tsunami hit, America could send a lot of those troops in Japan directly to the tsunami area, and they didn't have to fly folks. They were like right there, and were kind of more familiar with Asian cultures and so forth. So that kind of thing is kind of much of why we have soldiers over there. So hopefully that will help folks to understand that a little bit more. Maybe some kids will pick it up and get a little more familiar with foreign policy, which would be a very cool thing. So if you want to learn more and read more about what I do, go on over to my blog at otakunovideo.net. Shoot me an email, brent@otakunovideo.net, or tweet me on Twitter at otakunovideo. So until next time, watch what you like.